started. So we're gonna come to our mat and we're actually gonna come into child's pose right away. So just want you to come down on your knees and then decide whether you want to do like a wide leg child's pose. That means your knees are spread apart, or you want them together, whatever's most comfortable for you. And if child's pose is not comfortable, I'll just get you to go roll over and be on your back. And so if you're in child's pose, I just want you to lean your bum back as far as you can, and then the hands come forward, and the hands almost are reaching to the top of the mat. And then you can set your forehead down on the mat. And this should be a really relaxing pose. It should cause a great feeling of relief. And so you're letting go in this pose and you're just breathing essentially. So as you take some deep breaths, try to bring those breaths down into the belly. So you're going to inhale and you're filling up the belly and the lower back on the inhale. And then as you exhale, feel yourself sinking even deeper into the mat. Just taking some more inhales and exhales like that, letting go of the day, letting go of whatever just happened right before you got on your mat. And thinking about that third eye connecting with the earth and that soothing ability of the earth to just keep you grounded and calm. And you can move side to side. You can rock side to side with your hips so that you're kind of getting into your lower back and your hips if you want to have some movement. Or you can just stay still here. And just enjoying this pose. Child's pose is so healing and it is so relaxing. It slows down the nervous system, gives our bodies and brains a chance to reset. At the same time, feeling the length in the lower back as your hips move towards the back of the mat. And then I'll just stay silent for 2 more breaths and just remain here, feeling the opening and the release. And then when you're ready, push yourself on up to all fours so that your knees are under your hips and your hands are under your shoulders. Nice. We're just going to do a couple classic cat-cows here, and then we'll do something a little different. So as you inhale, you're looking up, letting your belly drop, and your hips are trying to come up to the sky. And then on the exhale, you're rounding your back and you're imagining that Halloween cat. Good. And then on the inhale, dropping down, looking up, tailbone comes up. And on the exhale, pushing into your hands so you're getting that stretch into the upper back. Good, maybe 2 more like this. Going as fast or as slow as you like. Awesome, exhaling, rounding through the spine. Good, chin can even come to chest while you're rounding, just so you feel that whole back body stretching. Awesome, and then when we come up to the next cow, yeah, that's good. So inhale, look up, you're in cow. On the exhale, we're gonna push back to child's pose. So exhale back to child's pose. And then inhaling, coming up into cow. Belly drops. Gaze lifts, chest opens. Exhale, pushing back to child's pose. Good, stretching through the back and the arms. And then inhale, up to cow again. So we'll just do that a couple more times. Opening up on the inhale, and then exhale, pushing back, rounding through the spine. Bum comes to your feet. And then inhale, looking up. Exhale, pushing back. Another inhale, coming up. And exhale, push back. And then on your next time when you come up, just come into neutral now, so all fours. So what I mean by neutral is that your back is nice and flat. It's not rounded, and it's not, your tummy's not like hanging down. So you're just nice and neutral. And then from here, we're going to push up into a downward dog. And so bring your hands out in front of you a little bit. So walk your hands out in front of you. And then you're going to tuck your toes. Inhale here. And on the exhale, yeah, pushing back. Good, this should feel good on the back of your legs. So your seat, your bum's lifting up to the sky as much as possible. Your neck is loose and relaxed, so you can move your neck around a little bit if you want, just to get some motion in there. And then in your downward dog, you can pedal out your feet and bending each knee, kind of moving around, making it feel good. Or you can just stay still as well, taking some nice deep breaths here. Maybe feeling some heat building in your shoulders. Good, and then we're going to come into pigeon, so inhaling, and then on the exhale, you can just bring your right knee in between your hands at the top of the mat. So we're in pigeon now. Check in with your right knee just to see how this feels and if it feels okay for you. So right now we're up in like a, we're not in a relaxed pigeon yet. We're in an active pigeon. So pushing your hands into the floor, opening up your chest, looking up. And then if you want, you can fold over that right knee and come down with your forehead touching the ground, or with your forehead on a block. I forgot my blocks today. So the other way you can do it is that you can put your elbows down on a 90-degree angle, and then you'll get like some really good stretch through the hip without making it too intense. And just breathing here into the right hip. Making sure you're not rolling onto the right bum, but you're actually trying to get your hips in the same plane, in the same sagittal plane, maybe? I can't remember. But you're trying to get your hips to be even. So taking 2 deep breaths here, really focusing on your right hip. Trying to get your breath to go right down into the hip, and then as you release, maybe you feel yourself sinking down a little bit more. Maybe you feel the muscle in the right butt and the right hip release. Let's take another deep breath in. And exhale, let it all out. And coming back into that active pigeon, so you're walking your hands towards you and opening up your chest, looking up. Nice job. That looks really good, you guys. And then from here, if you want, in one breath, you can tuck your left toes and bring your right foot back and go into downward dog from there. Good. So you're in downward dog now, just releasing your neck. Nice job. Looks good, you guys. Pushing into your hands and straightening your arms. We're strengthening our shoulders a little bit here. And then you can move around in the pose, or you can stay still.
checking in with your neck to make sure you're not holding any tension there. And then inhaling, and on the exhale, we're gonna go to the other side with pigeon. So bringing your left knee now in between your hands. Good. And then if this is enough of a stretch, you could just stay here. This is like such a good active pose. So you're opening your chest, you're opening your left hip, and then, but if you want something more relaxing and your body says that's okay for you, then you can kind of roll on down. You can have a pillow or a block, or like I said, go onto your elbows and just relax here. Feeling the left side now opening up. If your knee is sore at all, you just come out a little bit. Good, check in with your knee, make sure your knee is feeling okay. And another way to protect the knee is to flex the left foot, so you're flexing it there. Now we're going to take 2 deep intentional breaths. As you inhale, you can feel your belly even pushing against your left leg. And on the exhale, maybe you're feeling yourself moving deeper into the stretch. One more breath. And we're going to try to go back into downward dog now. So tucking the right toes under, inhaling, moving your arms up a little bit, taking your hands to the mat, and then on the exhale, moving back into downward dog. Good job. Yeah. Staying in downward dog for a minute. Let's take a couple deep breaths here. One more breath. As you exhale, bring your knees to the mat, and we're just going to do a bit of a counter pose. So knees to the mat, and then sitting back on the heels, we're going to clasp our hands behind our back now, and just open up the chest, looking up, breathing into the chest, into the shoulders. Wonderful. Okay, good. So we're gonna now turn around, like come onto our bums. Hey, Selena, you were already there. Awesome. Oh no, you weren't. I thought you were already there ahead of me. All right, so now we're on our bums, and we're gonna do a few twists here, which is really good for detox, and it just feels really good for your upper back. So legs can be in cross-leg position, but if that's not comfortable for your knees, you can also put your legs out straight in front of you if that's better for you. Either way, you're going to be able to do this easy twist. So for the easy twist, on the inhale, we're going to open up and stretch our arms all the way up to the ceiling. And then on the exhale, we're just going to go twisting to the right side first. So your right hand is behind you, left hand is on your knee. And just holding this while you breathe into your upper back. As you inhale, you may feel your crown growing closer to the ceiling, and then on the exhale, you can twist a little bit deeper. Always checking in to make sure your back feels okay. So we'll do one more deep breath. Inhaling, crown is lifting up. And then on the exhale, you might even look behind you. And then on the next inhale, just come over to neutral now. And then we're going to switch sides. So again, taking our arms up and reaching them up, feeling the length in the side body. Oh, it feels so good. And then exhale, now you're going to the left. Left hand comes behind you. Your left hand is basically just kind of helping support you, but you're not leaning it into it. So your core is actually engaged, your back is straight and strong, and your crown is lifted. So this looks like an easy pose maybe for an observer, but there's actually a lot going on. So inhaling, crown comes up to the ceiling, lifting up. And exhaling, maybe twisting it just a tiny bit deeper, just to like it won't even be noticeable to anyone else except for you. And you might want to look behind you. Good, and then exhaling, coming over to the front again, coming out of that twist. Great. We're gonna do another one for the hips. Now, this one can be a little tricky for the knees. So actually, let's do it on our back. So shoelace pose. Shoelace pose can be done on your seat or on your back. I think let's do it on our backs tonight. So coming over to our back, just take a second to feel your back kind of melt into the floor. That alone already feels good. Feet are bent, knees are bent, feet are on the floor. And then let's start actually by taking our knees and hugging them into our chest. And that probably already feels really good. Maybe rock side to side a bit. Opening up the lower back and the hips. This one is just so soothing, kind of rocking from side to side. Good, and then when you're done, taking your right leg and crossing it over the left. So you're like in a cross leg position here. And then what you want to do from there is you want to take your hands and kind of like grab your feet if you can. So you should feel this in the right glute. If you don't feel it, then I want you to push your feet against your hands. And you're going to feel it more that way. So breathing here into the right hip. This is shoelace pose because it's almost like you're grabbing onto your shoelaces. So there's this push-pull going on. So you're pulling your feet and then you're pushing your feet against your hands. On the inhale, you'll come out of it a little bit. And on the exhale, coming deeper into the right hip. Good, and then you can just let go of that, but keep your legs crossed. Taking your arms out now to the side into a T position. Now I just want you to let your legs fall over to the left. So it might take a little bit of maneuvering, but basically your legs are still crossed, but they're gonna fall over to the left. So this is just a version of a twist pose, but that also gets into the glutes. So breathing there into this twist / glute hip stretch. If you want to increase the intensity, you can take your gaze towards your right hand and almost reach your right hand towards the right side of the room. I don't know about you guys, but I can feel that stretch all the way down the inside of my arm, into my armpit and down towards my waist. Because if you're typing a lot or if you're doing a lot of schoolwork and like writing an essay and all that stuff, your inner arm is going to be super tight. So opening up that arm. And when you inhale, your shoulder will probably come off the ground, but then when you exhale, try to get it closer to the ground. It doesn't have to be perfect. And when you're ready, you can come out of that. So lifting your knees back up, uncross your legs, and then you can take your legs, so have your feet on the ground, knees bent, and then just back and forth windshield wiper your legs. So you're basically just letting your knees fall over from one side to the other, and it's just kind of letting go of any tension that accumulated in your hips or your back. And it should feel really good. Okay, let's do that on the other side now. So let's start hugging our knees into the chest. That feels so good. And then rock a little bit side to side if you like that rocking motion. And next we will now cross our left over our right knee. And then grabbing a hold of your feet. I would grab the outside of my feet if you can reach the outside of your feet. If not, you can even grab onto your toes, whatever you can reach. Check in with your shoulders though. You don't want to be tensing your shoulders off of the ground, off of the mat. So just breathing now here into the left hip. Pulling your feet towards you and then pressing your feet away at the same time. Getting deep into the left hip. There's only one left hip. Unless you're a conjoined twin, then maybe there's two. And then when you're ready, let's do that twist. So first, put your arms down on the ground in a T. And then you're going to be using your abs a little bit so that you can lower your legs without completely flailing. So engage your abs and then lower over to the right side. Twist over to the right side. It might feel kind of funny, but that's okay. You're essentially staying in the cross-legged position to get into the hips more, but you can certainly uncross your legs too. And then if you want to intensify it, look over to the left, look over to your left hand. And you might even want to bring that left hand out of a T and more up into a diagonal to the corner of the left, the corner of the room on the left, if that makes sense. So you're reaching up and out. One side might be tighter than the other. I know for this side, my arm doesn't even, it's just completely off the ground. And that's okay, as long as I'm breathing into it. One more breath here. Okay, and then we're going to bring our feet up onto the ground. Knees bent, feet on the ground. And do that windshield wiper again if you liked that motion. Just releasing any tension from the hips, from the lower back. And you might even see that you're getting a little bit of a massage into the glutes when you do this. I don't know if you can feel that, but I can. Good. Okay, coming back into neutral now, but our feet are still on the ground, knees bent. We're gonna do a bridge pose now. So we just opened up our hips and our lower back by kind of extension. Now we're going to open up the front of the body. So hands can come down by just down on the ground by your hips. And then inhaling, and then exhaling, you're just going to push into your feet and push your hips up to the ceiling. No, don't move your neck around in this position. Leave your neck as is. And then what you're trying to do is you're trying to get those hips up a little higher and a little higher, and then breathing into my cat's tail's in my face. Breathing into your chest. Good, and then we're gonna lower down really slowly, vertebra by vertebra. Good, and then just once you're down, stay there for a second. This is just like a moment to reset because we're gonna go into another back bend. We're gonna do 3. Your feet, they're kind of closer to your butt than you would think. So if you had an issue with that last bridge, I would say move your feet a little closer to your butt, and then you're going to get that mobility to be able to push your hips up to the ceiling. So go ahead and do that. Come on up. Make sure your knees are pointing straight ahead and they're not flopping out to the side. You're probably squeezing your butt right now, which is good. We need to strengthen our butt. So inhaling. Exhale. We'll take one more deep breath, and on the exhale then you can lower down very slowly. You might feel your thighs working too at this. So exhale, slowly coming on down. Good. Feeling the front of the body and just how open maybe your tummy feels even now. And this is actually a chest opener as well. Taking your head and just nodding side to side. So moving your head side to side. We're just gonna get rid of any tension in the neck. So looking back and forth. Good. And then when you're ready, we're doing one more bridge, as long as your lower back is okay. If this hurts your lower back, you can just do whatever pose that you feel up to. So pushing your hands into the floor, and then on the inhaling, and then on the exhaling, pushing up. Chest is open. Hip bones are reaching up to the sky. Make sure your feet are on the floor. All four corners are on the floor equally. And now try to breathe. One more breath, and then coming down slowly and mindfully. And then just the counter pose. We're going to bring our legs into our chest, knees into our chest. And just really give them a good squeeze. And rocking side to side. Good. Enjoying how that feels. And then we're going to put your legs straight out now in front of you. So you're like in a Shavasana pose, essentially. But we're going to roll over onto our stomachs. So rolling over now. And when you roll over, you're going to be in a Sphinx pose. So with Sphinx, you have your elbows at a 90-degree angle. And your hands are pushing into the ground. And so again, we're opening up the front of our body here. So your feet are reaching back. Like just imagine your feet reaching to the back wall. Imagine your crown reaching to the front of you and just giving yourself space in your vertebrae and in your spine, in your shoulders, in your belly and your chest. And then just breathing here for a couple breaths. On the next exhale, we're going to try to exhale back into downward dog. So inhaling and then tucking the toes, bringing your hands up near your chest, and then exhaling back into a downward dog, or whatever steps you had to take to get there. And then inhaling, you're going to walk up to the front of your mat. You're going to find yourself at the front of your mat in a forward fold. Now hands can come to either elbow. And what you want to do is just let your head relax here. Let it go. Shake out any tension in your neck. Feeling the length in the lower back, in your hamstrings, in your spine. And then releasing your hands now just to dangle down. Your arms are dangling down, and we're just going to come up like ragdoll here. So bending the knees, engaging the core, and coming on up little by little, all the way up until we're standing. And once you find yourself in standing, just stay there for a moment and let yourself adjust to being in a standing pose now, so you don't get dizzy. And then if you want to take a sip of water or Gatorade, I'm drinking electrolytes because I feel dehydrated. I don't know why, just always feel dehydrated. We'll do a couple standing poses and then we will close the class. All right, well, let's just do a few classic standing poses. So coming to the front of your mat, and you're in a mountain pose right now. So this is where your spine is nice and straight, your core is slightly engaged, and then the crown of your head is lifting up to the ceiling. So this in itself is a beautiful pose. Think about this during the day when you're going around and you're like busy and you're hunched over stuff. Even just coming up into mountain pose for just a minute, reminding your body what posture could be possible. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the left foot and we're gonna step it all the way back. We're gonna go into warrior two. So arms come into a T, yeah. Front knee is over front ankle. Good. And then your hips are kind of in the middle, not too far forward or back. And then you can just tuck your tail a little bit. Good. And we're in a warrior two. So checking in with your knee, making sure that it's right over your big toe. And then just gazing forward to the front of the room. Breathing here. This pose is a really strengthening pose, obviously. You can feel it in your leg, in your shoulders. Good. So holding this just for one more breath. And then on the exhale, keep your knee bent, but reach up with your right hand into an exalted warrior. Nice. Awesome. 2 breaths here. One more breath. Good. Straighten your right leg now. You're still an exalted warrior, but you're straightening your right leg. Good. And then you can let that go. And we're going to go right into triangle. So you might want to bring your feet a little closer together to set up for triangle. And then for triangle, you have the same T, pushing your left hip out, reaching your right hand forward, and then kind of just moving into that triangle pose where your right fingers are reaching towards the bottom of your mat and your left fingers are reaching up towards the sky. Awesome. Yeah, this one is a really tough one. Sometimes I would put my left hand on my left hip just to do a little bit of a assist there. And you should be feeling this in your right, what is that called? Right, what's that? Oh my gosh. Anyways, your left side will be having a really good stretch right now. And your groin, your right groin, yes. All right. Coming on up now. And then we're just gonna switch the placement of our feet so that our left foot now points to the front of the mat. And then the right foot is flush to the back of the mat. And we're just gonna go right into warrior two this way. So a really easy transition. Getting yourself into warrior two, making sure your shoulders are, there's a cat! A twist, that's awesome. Okay, I need a photo of this. But I'm recording the class, I can't get a photo. Okay, that's really awesome. Selena, yes, photo. That is so good. All right, so breathing into your warrior two. No, Jackie, you have to do the warrior two. Yeah, because you look so good with twist on you. Awesome. And then on the inhale, you can go back into exalted warrior, unless you're getting a photo op with your cat. And then opening up that left side now. The left knee is still bent. You're feeling some heat in that left knee, I'm sure. One more breath here, and then on the exhale, bending that left knee and moving the feet closer together so that we can come into triangle on the other side. Awesome. So triangle on the other side. Yeah, Christy's already there. Awesome. Pushing back your right hip, reaching forward with your left hand, and then tipping over. And you can either bend your right elbow and put your right hand on your right hip if you want some relief for your shoulder, or if you want to increase the complexity of the pose, you can look up towards your right hand. Breathing here. If you can't breathe, then you've gone too far. Inhale and exhale. Then on the next inhale, engage your tummy and come on up. Yay! All right, both feet now are pointed forward. We're just gonna do a nice easy fold to release some of the tension that may have accumulated in your neck. So if you want, you can clasp your hands behind your back, or you can just leave your hands kind of dangling, however you want. So you're gonna open up your chest, and then you're just gonna fold it forward from the hips. So this is a wide-legged forward fold. So your hands can come down to the mat. They could also stay on your hips. They could also be clasped behind your back like this if you want some more chest opening. Oh my gosh, I just looked at the time, less than a minute. Okay, so after you guys are done this forward fold, you're going to slowly and carefully come on down to the mat. And you're gonna have a Shavasana, because my timing was not great. You'll have your Shavasana on your own. Okay, for the recording though, I'm still gonna be teaching the Shavasana. So you're in your forward fold. Release your neck, shaking your head from side to side. Good, and then you can come on out of that forward fold. And then just step your feet to the top of your mat now. Let's come into, let's roll our shoulders back, opening up the chest, opening up your shoulders, releasing any tension there. And just stand in mountain pose. Taking a breath here, feeling your feet connected to the earth, grounding down. Good, and then we're just gonna end the class here in mountain pose. I want you to take your hands to your heart, thinking about your gratitude for whatever it is that you're grateful for today. I'm really grateful for this yoga class and this community that has shown up for me in the last more than 2 years. So 2.5, maybe 3 years. I'm very grateful to you guys. And yeah, that's what I'm grateful for today. And so bowing over, namaste to everybody. Have a wonderful night. Come back and do this class again. Thank you for joining me. Good night.